Hi, I'm Allison Dudas, and I am from the marketing department here at Franchise Business Review. And one of the aspects of my job, one of the aspects I love the most, is getting to talk to franchisees. So I get the chance to talk to franchisees to really explain and discover what the process is like of becoming a franchise, what it's like owning a franchise, challenges, benefits, etc. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with two franchisees from the Cruise Planners franchise. Now, Cruise Planners is a home based travel franchise, and we always see them on our list. So, just a reminder about Franchise Business Review, we are a market research company. We're kind of like the consumer reports of franchising. And Cruise Planners, like many of the brands we work with, they send out surveys to their franchisees yearly to figure out how they're doing, right? Are they satisfied owning their brands? And Cruise Planners franchisees answer these questions so favorably. So you will see them on so many of our lists. And talking with me today are Mark and Monica Soberman, and they are franchisees from Cruise Planners that have owned their franchise for less than a year. So you are going to hear from them a lot about what owning a franchise is like at the very beginning. So thank you so much for agreeing to talk to me today.
Thank you. Yeah, we're happy to be here.
So my
Absolutely.
my first question is, when did you first invest in a Cruise Planners?
Yeah, so we invested in Cruise Planners February 2025.
Mhm.
Yeah, February 2025 is when we made the decision. We were looking into other options in the travel cruise space. Like a lot of people in our shoes, we were looking at host agencies first. And we did look at a couple franchises as well outside of Cruise Planners. So we, did some research probably for a month or so before we ultimately settled upon Cruise Planners.
Okay, so it's really been about a year, so almost happy anniversary to you.
Thank you.
Before you worked with Cruise Planners, what were you both doing?
I guess I'll start real quick. I actually, odd story, but I actually opened a travel agency back. It's going to date myself quite a bit here, but in 1988, and back then there was no online, there was nothing like this. There's no home officing. I mean, we're booking cruises from cruise ships. You couldn't do any of that. So I opened a retail travel agency and had that for a couple of years. And at that time, I really had never taken a cruise. I had never traveled internationally. Just kind of had a bit of this bug for travel and this passion, and I just decided to go for it with another partner. So we opened that in Southern California. So fast forward, we had that for a few years, ended up selling it. Then I got into technology businesses, online marketing, online businesses. And I've really had my own business for about 30 years when I left the corporate
Okay.
space, somewhere about like 30 years ago, give or take. And then have had those businesses ever since outside of travel, not really related to travel at all. But we've always kind of together have had this passion for travel and this interest in it. And yeah, that's kind of the quick background. And Monica?
Yeah, so I don't really come from a travel background, but I've in the past done things like I sold African safaris for a while, working with an operator in Tanzania. And then I owned a charter brokerage for like air charter private jets for a few years and did and booked travel that way. But I've had a passion for travel since the 80s. And it's one thing we've always done together. And we've kind of amped that up in the last few years.
That's great. So obviously love of travel and it's very clear to me that both of you are entrepreneurs at your heart. So it
Yeah.
makes sense to me that you are owning your own business. Now, why a franchise as opposed to kind of doing what you did in 1988 and open one on your own?
Yeah, that's a great question. This time around, like our plan wasn't initially even to go into this. A few years ago, we started to travel remotely. So, because we both
Mhm.
had our own different home based businesses, again, nothing to do with travel at all.
Mhm.
But we knew once our daughter was out of the house in college on her own, we had the ability to travel a lot more. But we made the decision to travel full time. So, we pretty much put everything in storage and got rid of the house. Our last dog passed on,
Mhm.
and we're like, okay, we could probably do this full time. And we really did that for about 3 years. Only in the last year have we altered that plan a little bit. And
Mhm.
we're like a split right now. We're 6 months traveling, a lot of cruises, and then 6 months at home here in Florida. So really, the reasons for it was I kind of knew that in other businesses that I have done, some of my biggest successes in recent years have been when I've already sort of bought into a business that was already up and running, already had systems, already had marketing, all these things that it takes to get going is really
Mm.
difficult if you start brand new on your own. So then it really just became a search for, well, who's got amazing training? Like I may have had a little bit more experience in the travel space than Monica, so I wanted to make sure that Monica had great training. But let's be honest, the training that I had is decades old, right? I mean, everything
Or
has
so
changed.
much has changed, even in the last 5 years,
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Dramatic changes. Also for us, big was technology. We wanted to be with a company that was
Mhm.
leading edge of technology. Again, our past businesses have always been tech heavy, tech centered. I wanted them to actually be aware of this thing called artificial intelligence. I didn't want to be telling them about it. So tech was really important to us. Training was really important to us. Having systems was really important. And we also wanted to work with a company that we were going to represent that has a reputation, that does a lot of volume, that has some special relationships with the products that we're marketing and selling. So we know confidently when we present to a client that it's not just us who put this together on a whim and a hobby, that we're really backed up by this $1 billion a year business. So a lot of that is what ultimately probably led us to cruise planners. We looked at a lot of host agencies. They
Mhm.
were always missing something. Maybe the technology wasn't good or the training wasn't good. There was always something that was missing. This was like the perfect combination of everything for us.
And I'll say also, running your own business, you do the thing you love, and then you also have to do marketing. You have to do eh, all the other stuff that goes with it, accounting and taxes and everything. So it's really nice to have a lot of those functions done for you to
mm.
kind of let you do the thing that you like to do.
Monica, that is such a great point. I used to own my own business, and that was the hardest part for me. I was like, bookkeeping.
Mm.
Ah,
You got to do it all, and you have to
you
pretty much do it all well.
Yes, yes, you have to wear all of the hats, and I can see how buying into a franchise system, depending on the system, you
Mhm.
really could easily have those things done for you. Okay, so tell me about just that initial onboarding experience. Like walk me through, okay, you've done all this research, you've figured out that cruise planners is the right spot for both of you because of tech, because of all these other things that you spent time researching. You sign on the dotted line, then what happens?
Yeah, so or I guess, threatened to do this maybe 10 years ago. And I was getting a little burnt out with my other full time business, which I still work on, by the way, which is one of the great things about a franchise like this. You can live your life, you can
Mhm.
travel, you can have other interests and even another business like I do, and still do this, which is pretty amazing.
Mm,
But I actually looked at cruise planners at that time. So it was always kind of in the back of my mind. So when we looked at it again and had seen what was still the same, and what was different, it was actually a fairly easy decision overall. And really the onboarding was pretty amazing because one, you know how it is. Sometimes if you sign up for an opportunity, all of a sudden that's the last you hear from people. It was the exact opposite with our cruise planners experience. We got assigned to a coach right away, an accountability person.
Mhm.
Everything that they had promised in the beginning happened like from day one. And we're me maybe super impatient. We just kind of wanted to kind of just get going. I just wanted to get going. We had already built up a bit of a community online
Mhm.
of people that were interested in travel that we knew could be our clients.
mm,
So we're probably more of the impatient variety, but everything was kind of there for us. The training was ready to go. I was just super impressed, having been, an online business for like 30 years, just how well laid out everything was. And this was all before we got to Star University, where we got to go in person to training. And when you go to that, it is like a complete game changer because you cannot pick up on the level of commitment, the enthusiasm, the quality of the
Mhm.
people at home office until you go to that, which I didn't really get it until I went. We recently had a new associate that we brought on and we sent her to it a couple of weeks ago. And same thing, like we gave her good training in advance, but I'm like, until you go and see what this is like, you
mm.
don't really know what you're involved in. And I say that completely like positively. I mean, it was really a great experience. So everything happened for us pretty quickly. We went to Star University already with some bookings really not knowing what we were doing.
Mhm.
But we just kind of jumped in. In the beginning, you don't know what you're doing. You just got to jump in.
Yeah. Yeah, so you hit the ground running, to be sure, and you went to the in-person STAR training in Florida, so not too far from you, I imagine. And then what did the training? So obviously there's STAR University, which is in person, which is
Mhm.
6 days. Is that right?
Yeah.
Um, and then when you come home, what does the ongoing training look like? Is it virtual? Is your coach coming to visit you? What's it like?
Yeah, I guess I'll answer real quick, and then Monica can kind of share her
Sure.
experience of it. There is more training than you're ever going to be able to actually take,
Mm.
and I say that in a positive way as well because we have an incredible amount of things to learn. I mean, it's just anybody getting into this has to realize that there is a learning curve. It's doable.
Mhm.
We've done it. Tons of people before us have done it. But in the beginning, it will feel quite overwhelming because you are representing, a few dozen different products. Everybody does things a little bit differently. So each one of those individual cruise lines, tour companies, insurance companies, they will have their own training. So you pretty much, if you wanted to every single day, you could attend training. Then you're going to have, of course, your franchise and operating your business. There's training for that
Mhm.
that Cruise Planners makes available. We have something called CP Genie, which is made available to us. And that is like sort of the home base for all of the videos, the recordings, the webinars, the Zooms.
Uh,
I think the great thing is, depending upon what direction you want to go in, how you want to customize your business, there's training and support, both recorded and in real time, always available to you. And then we've got this amazing support team back at home office. So when we run into any technical problems, there are people at home office because Cruise Planners has great relationships with the cruise lines. If there's ever a problem, we have
mm,
great contacts at all of the cruise lines that are amazing to work with. So I think, if anything, if I ever have even a frustration, it's like, I wish I could get to all of the training that there is and
sure.
also maybe service all of the customers and the lead requests and everything coming in. So it's almost an embarrassment
Mhm.
of riches, kind of how much we have
Yeah,
available
it's
to us.
so much
Yep.
opportunity for growth, clearly,
Yep.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would second all of that. I feel incredibly supported and the training is great, but also knowing where to go for the answer when things come up in during the day, it's really important and it's great to have that access to that resource.
When you first started your training, what systems or tools were the most helpful off the bat?
Yeah, it's interesting for us. We really wanted to get a system called, well, CP Max is the system
Yeah,
that we use, that we work in. And there's
right?
something called eConnect, which is Cruise Planners has set up basically like a connection with, I think it's about a dozen or so of the major cruise lines, where in CP Max, we can kind of learn like one system in the beginning and sort
Mhm.
of use that in a way as a crutch in order to kind of pull pricing, get quotes, even book directly. And that was really important to us. In particular, I'd say maybe the first 6 months or so,
Mhm.
because later on, we started learning all of the individual cruise line systems. And while some of them use the same software, they all do it a little bit differently. And that
Sure.
does take a little bit of time. You're not going to be a pro at that from day one. So it was really nice that we were able to kind of learn that on the fly as we went. But in the meantime, sort of have CP Max and this system that we learned online and at Star U to be able to like start doing the business from day
Mm.
one because we didn't really want to spend 6 months just learning. We were ready to start to market and to sell cruises. So I think for us, that technology was really the game changer that got us off to such a really fast start.
Yep, agreed.
Now, Monica, I know that you're, of course, a business owner and you have tons of experience. I'm wondering, however, if not being in the tech world like Mark, if you found the system super easy to navigate, like if you could pick up your phone or go on your computer and navigate it, or did you feel like there were some moments of confusion? How easy was it for you?
Super easy. I feel like it's all very intuitive. I've had businesses in the past that were online,
Mhm.
which helped a lot, just
Yes,
knowing
of
how to
course.
navigate that world. But the way they built it makes it real easy to know what to do and how to do something. So I didn't really
And
struggle too much with that.
Oh, well, that's so good, and I feel like too, the I've gotten to talk to a few cruise planners franchisees, and they talk about even, like, you can do it from your phone, and, I think you even mentioned before, like, we're booking cruises from cruises,
Hmm.
so you're,
Hmm.
like, in your room on the cruise or Lord knows where on the cruise and, booking travel for your clients, so it seems
Yeah.
like it's a pretty functional system if you're, you're home based, but really you're wherever your phone or wherever your laptop is based.
Yeah, they have a great app that's on our phone, and I don't do a lot of booking from my phone,
Yeah.
but I use it a lot to look things up. If you're out and about and you're talking to customers, you can look things up very quickly. So it's awesome. I really appreciate that app.
Yeah, just that flexibility, especially if like one of the things you're trying to do is travel and yeah.
Because a lot of times you're not at your desk,
Right.
one of the joys of working at home and working on the road is that you don't have to sit in front of a laptop all day, but it's
Right.
good to have that I always have my phone with me, so I can always answer questions if I have to.
Now, when you were onboarding, and of course you went to Star University, did you meet up with other franchisees? Do you feel like there's a strong franchisee community that you were initially plugged into?
I would say yes. I mean, one benefit of being at Star U was being, um, right up against the corporate culture, and meeting people there, but also other franchisees and knowing that we may be sitting at home on the laptop, but you're really part of a big community of people that are kind of doing the same thing that you're doing.
Right.
So it's very valuable to have that interface with other people.
And it's true too that you're not like some franchises, you're buying into a territory which covers like specific zip codes, mileage, et cetera. But with cruise planners, there's not that. So you're really just able to kind of work wherever. How did you get your first clients with cruise planners?
Yeah. So when we started the full time travel, well, it's about 4 years ago, coming on to that at this point, we had started a blog and a small YouTube channel. And we were just going to share the experience a little bit because we thought there were definitely, and we met a lot of people that were like us. It wasn't really focused specifically on cruising. It was just like, hey, can you put everything down? Can you put stuff in storage? And could you travel part or full time, nomadically and run a business? And at that time, it was different businesses. So we built up a little bit of a community, that way. We had people that enjoyed the channel, they enjoyed the blog. And along the way, we noticed that we were taking some cruises, sometimes for transportation, sometimes for other reasons. And when we mentioned to people, we were just getting people saying, oh, like, how did you do that? Where did you do that? And in the beginning, we really were referring out to another cruise agency that I had worked with forever. I had already had a super positive experience. They weren't cruise planners, but I saw the benefit of working with somebody. I mean, I was more than capable of maybe even picking my own cruise and booking it direct, but I booked every single time with a travel advisor because of
Mhm.
the extras that I got from them and the extra
Right.
answers and support. And when things were a problem, them being able to take care of it. So we tapped into that community initially and just started to put the word out that we're not referring anymore, that you
Yeah.
actually get a chance to work with us personally. And I think the people that liked us from those channels were like, "Oh, that would be nice to work with
Absolutely.
Mark and
I
Monica."
gotta book with you.
I'm
Yeah.
similar. Yeah, we're similar to you
Mhm.
guys, trying to do the same thing. We like the stuff that you've shared. We do try to share a lot of strategies and things that you just aren't going to get typically out there that
Mhm.
we've
Mhm.
learned. So we just try to share as much as we can, and that comes back to us with clients. As far as the first one that we had, I don't really remember. Do you remember?
Um,
I think I remember you working in the back of the car, and I sort of made the comment that she's like the Lincoln lawyer, if you've ever seen the Netflix show. So she was in the back, I was driving in the front, and she was trying to make bookings while we were probably driving to training or something. So
yeah,
I love it. I love it. That's like the perfect definition of like just starting out, home-based business, just kind
yep,
of hustling while you can. What
exactly.
did you end up focusing on? So obviously you had a bit of a YouTube following, you started booking travel, you already had that audience and that buy-in. What kind of got the ball rolling? Because you have had a very, I don't want to downplay this, you have had a very successful first year.
yeah.
So much to be proud of. So huge congratulations for that. How did it start to snowball on YouTube? So tell us how you made that happen.
Sure. Yeah, we have about, I wish it was 70, but about 30,000. But it's great. Yeah. So we've got that community. And I think for anybody who's like listening to this, you don't have to have a blog. You don't have to have a YouTube channel. I think what you'll have to have, besides the passion just for travel, it should light you up when you hear about another cruise ship being released and you want to get onto it, whether you've even done a lot of cruising or not. I don't think it matters, but you got to have that passion where, wow, this is just super fascinating. But you do have to have some ability to tap into some type of community. Like where we live now, this is like a 55 and up, very super active community. If we didn't have the channel and the blog, we would tap into the networks here. It would not be that difficult. So you have to have a little bit of that desire to go out and market a little bit. You're
Mhm.
selling cruises. It's the easiest, best thing out there. People are buying their vacation. It's not hard. You're not even selling. I use the word selling, but not really. You're just kind of informing them and educating them. They'll sell themselves. Like that part is really not difficult. So, I think we sort of targeted people that were a lot like us, that had a little bit more time. That in our case, we weren't retired, though we have a lot of
Right.
our clients are retired.
Mhm.
But a lot of our clients are also working, but they are more willing to go on little longer trips. So
Mm.
14 days, 20 days. We talk to a lot of people who are they're interested in a 30-day cruise, a lot of river cruises.
Mhm.
So people that are looking for bigger experiences, probably mostly empty nesters. Like we could have, of course, focused on, families and kids in the Caribbean. That's an amazing market, but that's not really our market. Our market happens to be mostly empty nesters, a little bit of multi-gen, typically
Mhm.
people more than a week-long cruise, some people using it for transportation, some people putting it together with other land-based. They don't mind being gone on back-to-back cruises or for 30 days or longer. So
Mhm.
we just tapped into the people that we were speaking to and the kind of information we were providing and not trying to be something to everybody, not trying to be the solution to every single person. Maybe the family with a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, we're probably not the perfect choice for them. We don't know all the answers on that, but we know all, no, not all, but a lot of the answers, when it comes to like people like us, 50 plus, with time, want great experiences, but also great value.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I would say once you get those people that we have multiple clients that have booked multiple times over and over. They just keep
Yeah.
booking and then they'll book on board. And so, the booking will just show up in your inbox. So that's where it really starts to multiply, kind of pay off.
Yeah, that recurring revenue that you
Mhm.
don't even have to
Mhm.
chase anymore. But I want to go back to something that you said. So you talked about how when you first started your YouTube channel, you were just sharing what you knew and you were
Yeah.
even referring out when somebody wanted to book travel. And it sounds like even your advice to people thinking about this role as a franchisee is you're really just I'm sure that you could go, sell a cruise just by going and talking to somebody and being like, "Hey, we just got back from a cruise in the Arctic. It was amazing." And then it just kind of spitballs. So it's really just sharing what you love and sharing what you do. And I also love the idea that you just let go. Like maybe not every client is for you. And there's still enough business out there for everybody. So something that I'm interested in. So both of you are obviously in this together. How do you divide up responsibilities? Is it very clear cut? Like Mark's in charge of this, Monica's in charge of this, or do you sort of mix it together?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear cut. I'll sort of explain what I do, in the day to day because I'm also still working on another business
Right.
as well. But I think you sort of need to know your superpowers a little bit. And I think one of mine is when a request comes in from somebody, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm looking for. Yes, some percentage of the people are specific, where they're like, I want to go on this celebrity cruise, October 2027, but that's the exception to the rule. Most of the
Mm.
time, it's like, I would like to go in April or October or maybe any of those months. I'm looking at Europe, I'm looking at Asia, I'm looking at this and that. And it's sort of trying to figure out, where to start with somebody like that because you can't quote them 100 different cruises. You have to give them a few options. And I want to really personalize it and customize it to them. So I will typically take all of the initial lead requests, people that are looking for something, and I will try to find them specifically what they're looking for. And sometimes, the first replies back will be just a lot of questions from us because
Sure.
we just need those answered. We just don't want to guess. Other times I can feel it enough based upon what they submitted on our form. We have an intake form and they filled it out completely. Not everybody does. And then we really can get to the point where I can even in the first reply back, we can quote very specifically some options. So it's really a mix of the two, but that's fine. I always enjoy it anyway because I'm like, maybe I helped them, gave them some advice, some information,
Mm.
and they may come back to us 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or maybe they're going to book through somebody else. And that's perfectly fine with me because at least I know the experience with us will be positive. You just never know. Maybe they'll tell their friend instead,
Mhm.
and that'll work. So I kind of do all of that initial finding the deals, finding the best perks and amenities, seeing what Cruise Planners is offering, Signature, our consortium, what they're offering.
Mhm.
Maybe I can advise somebody, hey, you mentioned May, but did you know if you went in April, we have a way better deal, or you're a solo person, April's way better than May, or if you can push it off a month, did you know that this other cruise line has this deal? So
Mhm.
that's a lot of what I do, using our knowledge base. We use AI to a degree. We use Cruise Planners tools in order to get them really what we hope is a pretty impressive, helpful proposal. And then Monica, from that point,
Yeah, I'm the one who books. I book everything, and I'm the customer relationship person. So, if they have any questions about, their cruise, about travel insurance, or anything, booking their dining, or anything that they might have regarding their trip, sometimes they need to make a change to the sail date or whatever. Then I'm the contact person that handles those requests.
yeah, short excursions, I mean, all
Hmm.
that sort of thing. They have a lot
Nice.
of questions, a lot of people. So we're here to answer all those questions. There's a lot of them.
Yep.
I've spoken to a few franchisees that are married, and it seems to be the case that you kind of like divide and conquer it. One
Yeah.
person's really good at one thing, and the other person's really good at others. All right, so just going back to year one, because you're almost there. You're almost celebrating that official first year, which is
Mhm.
so incredible. What mindset do you think matters in your first year the most?
I think just an incredible desire just to learn. I mean, just realizing that you'll come in with some knowledge, some experience, whatever it might be. Doesn't have to be in travel at all. Doesn't have to be in cruising.
Mhm.
You could have taken very few cruises. You can learn all this. You can get on cruise ships. You can take tours. You can take virtual tours.
Mhm.
But you have to be open and willing to really learn. But I think also you have to understand, there is marketing involved. The customers aren't just going to come to you. You're going to have some plan of attack, some strategy. And Cruise Planners is great about having, 20 different strategies that you could go ahead and jump onto, but you have to find the ones that speak to you, that work for you. Maybe you're a great social networker, like I'm not, we're just not. We're probably more introverted. So we had to have different ways of
Mhm.
reaching like our tribe and our people. Maybe you need to know some connectors. I mean,
Yeah.
we have some great friends that are incredible connectors for us. So we use, not use them, but, they love talking about this stuff
Uh,
for us. So you have to have some of that as well. So I think for me, I would say just, you know, the desire to learn,
Mhm.
to kind of love the business that you're in, and just know that, yeah, you are going to market and you are going to be really frustrated at times with what you don't know. But the beauty of this, there's an answer always. With the franchise model, we always have somebody we can contact, we can call. We have a personal coach. When we hit a stumbling block, it's
Mhm.
not like that's it, you're finished. No, you just got to pick up the phone, send an email, send a
Mhm.
chat, whatever it is, and then
Mm.
you're good. And just be stubborn until you're successful. I mean, what
Yeah.
do you think, Monica?
Yep, agreed, and recognize that you may learn everything. You won't learn everything, but everything you learn, it is all constantly changing too, so you have to kinda keep up with it, and that can be a lot. It can be real hard to keep up with all the different offers that cruise lines have, all the different, all their all-included packages or whatever. Everything is always constantly changing, so you just have to not stop learning. You gotta keep learning.
Yeah, we laugh about I guess when we first started, probably the first 3 months, we sort of thought we knew a lot, we knew it all. And then I laugh about kind of our knowledge base then compared to now. But that's
Mhm.
fun. That's what makes it really interesting. It never, ever is boring. I mean, it's pretty exciting to do this.
Yep. Every booking is different.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, so to close, I have a closing rapid fire round for you. So we can maybe I'll give you like a big prompt, and then Monica, you can answer first, and then Mark, or whichever order you want to do. So, one word to describe your first year.
Busy.
Rewarding.
Mm. Biggest mistake you made your first year.
Good question. There were definitely some mistakes made
Yeah, I know.
along the way. I mean, honestly, probably sometimes just kind of making an assumption about a policy and not being 100% sure on it. And maybe kind of telling a client that you have to be really, really careful on all questions that, if it's about refund or
Mhm.
cancellation or anything like that.
Ah,
The information's out there. Don't always trust what you read online. Don't always trust what AI says. Go to the source. So just sometimes it's making sure that you're super accurate with your answers.
Yeah, trust but verify.
Always.
trust but verify. All right, the best decision that you made this past year.
I'd say best decision that we made was probably really just going this direction. When we started the remote travel, we both had the passion for travel. Like I told Monica, I go, at some point we probably will be able to monetize what we're doing. I
Mhm.
just don't know what it is yet. There was no
Mm.
plan to buy a franchise or to get with cruise planners. It just sort of revealed itself to us. And the smartest thing we did is we went for it. We learned about it, we went for it, and then we capitalized on it. And you know what? Even if it wasn't success, it's been a great success.
Yeah.
I would have been happy too because at least we
Mhm.
took some chances to figure out how we were going to sort of monetize this interest. So it's not all about necessarily the money, but it's a nice reward,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to be doing something you love, but also being rewarded for it. So I think that would probably be the for me.
Yeah, for me, I would totally agree. It's funny how it took us this long to get here because we've loved cruising for forever. We
Mhm.
actually got married on a cruise way back when, and we've done a lot of cruising since then. And it's just a passion for us. So it's funny that it took this long to figure out because it seems like a perfect fit for both
Mhm.
of us. And you know, so it worked out great.
It seems like it. Well, I just want to thank you both so much. I want to close with just some information about cruise planners. So, as I said in the beginning, cruise planners surveys their franchisees to find out how they're feeling about the franchise opportunity. So, they ask them questions about training and support. They ask them questions about the franchisee community, and so on. And cruise planners stats are really amazing. So just to give a few things, 99% of franchisees agree that they enjoy operating their business. 99% of franchisees are likely to recommend this franchise to others. And they get excellent marks. So cruise planners get excellent marks in things like training and support, leadership, core values, franchisee community, and self-evaluation, which means when a franchisee is asked if they think it's a good opportunity, most franchisees are responding with, yes, it's an excellent opportunity. So it's so great to hear from actual franchisees like yourselves and listen to how being a part of this system has made your life, well, better, I would guess, in the last year. And I want to congratulate you on such a successful first year.
Yeah, thanks so much, Allison. It's been amazing. So we're excited about year two for sure.
Absolutely. I imagine big things are coming. Well, thank you so much. And I'm signing off from Franchise Business Review.